In the last few months, many people know me as the Bonvita guy. The guy who made a viral video against Bonvita for which the government supported me and asked Bonvita to take their package down. Some people call me an overnight success, but many don't know my journey which started a long time ago. My journey involves not going to IIM, writing a book, working on Wall Street, fighting with my parents and a whole lot of other successes and failures which I now find very fascinating. I grew up in Kolkata. I was very skinny and underconfident. As a result, I was bullied a lot in primary and middle school. It was an all-boys school and the type of bullying that happens can be pretty bad. I even lost my front tooth in a fight. When I was in high school, I got better at studies and as a result, my confidence increased. No one will back you if you don't back yourself. This is what I kept telling myself. I started fighting back the bullies and eventually I was no longer bullied. The experience of getting bullied early in my life has been the biggest learning lesson because I picked up skills of being empathetic and mentally strong. I decided that I'm not going to get bullied anymore. Whether you are Bonvita or any MNC, you may have the best lawyers in the world, but I'm not going to stop. Anyway, moving ahead to 2014, life was good. I completed my graduation from New York University and I was doing my first ever job in New York at a bank. I had a lot of free time at work, so I began to Google really random things. Like for example, what percentage of penguins are gay? What happens to humans after we die? Is the color orange named after the fruit orange or is the fruit orange named after the color orange? After a lot of Googling and thinking about random questions, I learned that for smaller decisions, we are very particular. When you want to decide which restaurant to go to, you may read TripAdvisor and Zomato reviews. When you're deciding which movie to watch, you may read several reviews or ratings. But for the major decisions of our life, we take things at face value and we do what our parents and immediate society around us is doing. A person born in a non-vegetarian family usually becomes a non-vegetarian and stays a non-vegetarian for the rest of their life. A person born in a vegetarian family usually becomes a vegetarian and stays a vegetarian for the rest of their life. The same happens with religion. Whichever religion you are born into, people think that religion is the best. We don't look into ratings or reviews when it comes to religion. We don't look into ratings or reviews when it comes to our diet. Who made the rule that we should get married in our 20s? Who made the rule that we should follow the same religion as our parents? Who made the rule that guys should wear blue and girls should wear pink? Maybe the rules were right, maybe the rules can be improved, maybe there should not be any rules. Let's challenge every rule. I felt like I needed to talk about this, so I decided to write a book to help people make their own rules and help people question every major aspect of their life. In fact, I even decided to have a chapter on nutrition labels because I felt that it is one of the easiest ways to challenge our beliefs on healthy food. After all of this effort, I somehow managed to write 250 pages. Now the harder part was the publishing. I sent 3 chapters of my book to 20 plus publishers in New York and all of them either ignored me or rejected me. Then I googled how to publish a book, but all the links were self-publishing links in which I would have to pay money to publish my book and my book would only be available on Amazon. Just like any other author, my dream was that my book would actually be available in bookstores and not just Amazon. So I decided to actually go to the bookstores as I wanted to figure out what have the other successful debut authors who've been able to get their book in the bookstores, what have they done right? So I picked out books that were similar to mine. I picked out self-help books by debut authors. Over the course of a week, I picked out more than 100 books and I did not read the books. I just read the acknowledgements pages because most authors name their editors and agents in the acknowledgements pages. I noticed that the same 5 to 7 agents and editors specialized in working with debut self-help authors. So I sent them a personalized email. I really liked their previous work, even though I'll be honest, I had not read their work. I had just read the acknowledgements pages. I sent them 3 chapters and I suddenly started getting replies and traction from publishers like Bloomsbury, Penguin, HarperCollins. The only problem was that they said, Revant, your book is great, but to be honest, no one in the US, UK is interested to read a self-help book written by an Indian unless it's about yoga or spirituality. At first I got pissed. I got angry, but then I realized it makes sense because almost every self-help book written by an Indian that has done well abroad is usually about yoga or spirituality. While I was passionate about my work, I was also practical about my work. So I decided to completely change my market and Indianize my entire book to make it for an Indian audience. So I changed Donald Trump to Narendra Modi, Cristiano Ronaldo became Virat Kohli, Hollywood examples became Bollywood examples, but I let Priyanka Chopra remain Priyanka Chopra. Retrospectively, this turned out really well because we Indians, we are great at Indianizing everything. You go to Haldiram and you find pizzas with bhujia on it. And I'm pretty sure if Da Vinci Code was written by a Punjabi, he would name it Vinci da Code. After all this effort, I finally signed a contract with Bloomsbury, the publishers of the Harry Potter series, to publish my book. I was super excited. I quit my job in New York. I came to India. Meanwhile, there was also family pressure for me to pursue higher studies. I studied day and night for several months and I finally got into IIM Bangalore. But I decided not to go and instead thought I would focus on my book. My friends and relatives could not understand how anyone could be smart enough to get into IIM Bangalore and stupid enough not to go. They were telling me that the only people who say no to IIM Bangalore are those who get into IIM Ahmedabad, and I did not get into IIM Ahmedabad. I was explaining to them, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, they're all dropouts. And I'm going one step further. I'm not even dropping out. I'm not even going in the first place. Imagine how successful I'm going to be. But jokes aside, I didn't listen to my friends and relatives because I strongly believe that no one will back you if you don't back yourself. My mom was the only supportive person in my entire journey, and she told me, if you go to IIM, you're going to write books like the other IIM authors. And we all know the kind of books the other IIM authors write. So I did not go to IIM and focused on my book instead. My publishers Bloomsbury had paid almost every bookstore in India to ensure my book would be in the front of the bookshelves. We carefully planned to release the book during the winter months in November 2016 when the students are usually free. I was super excited, and then the day my book released, the Prime Minister of India announced demonetization. Most people for the next few weeks, they didn't have money to buy basic things. The last thing they were going to think about was trying to buy a book written by a debut author who they don't know. So in the first month, my book was in the front of the bookshelves like this. In the second month, my book became like this. You could just see this part of it in the bookshelves. In the third month, it was in the corner, and the fourth month, it wasn't even there in the bookshelves. And I did not know what to do. When we make a brave decision and it does not turn out well, it is usually a mistake. But if we didn't do it at all, it would be a regret. My life's goal has always been to minimize regrets, not to minimize mistakes. The book did give me a lot of recognition. I got invited to speak at IIM Bangalore, the same college which I said no to 2 to 3 years ago. I even got invited to speak at IIT and I felt like a mini celebrity. But the reality was different. All my friends were doing top jobs, and here I was doing talks where I gained a lot of respect, love, recognition, likes and shares. But respect does not pay bills. Recognition does not pay bills. Likes and shares do not pay bills. So I decided to reapply for an MBA. I eventually went to Wharton for my MBA, where I studied marketing and worked at McKinsey in the US as a consultant. As a consultant, we often solve business problems and structure its solutions. I thought I could use my same consulting skills but to solve life's problems. The most important part of our life is health. Health is determined by food, and the food we eat in the last 50 to 70 years is mainly processed or packaged food. And packaged food companies often make a lot of fake health claims. And they lie even more in poorer countries where consumers' voice is not strong enough. So I realized that by solving the packaged food problem in a country like India is like solving one of the biggest problems in the world. They are harming India. This is not right, and I'm not going to let that happen. Everyone told me not to quit my job in the US, which was paying me a lot of money. But I saw a massive potential to make Indians aware. It's not that I don't want money, it's just that I have a strong belief that if I add enough value to a large number of people's lives, I will make a lot of money as well. I came to India and I started creating videos. The first video I made was on a chocolate drink filled with sugar which markets itself as a health drink to kids, also known as Bonvita. My first video itself went viral and was watched by crores of people in India. Paresh Rawal shared it, some cricketers shared it. People started translating the video in Hindi, Marathi and other languages. Someone in Marine Drive in Mumbai put up a hoarding against Bonvita. Bonvita was not happy and sent me a legal notice saying that my video was incorrect. They gave me 24 hours to respond, and I didn't have any lawyer with me, so I deleted the video because my family was worried. Then some of the leading doctors of the country signed a document saying that my video was correct. In fact, the government sent them a legal notice asking them to take down their packaging. I made many such videos on MNCs which were falsely marketing themselves. I got legal notices and court cases from many of these companies. One company even asked me for 2 crores. Some of these companies would even send me a 300-page legal document within 1 week of uploading my video. I took 6 months to write a 250-page book. These guys wrote 300 pages in 1 week. I wonder how many lawyers did they employ? And they give me 24 hours to respond. How do you respond to a 300-page document in 24 hours? Should I use ChatGPT? They used many other scare tactics as well. I got bullied enough as a kid and I'm not going to let anyone bully me anymore. I'm not going to let an MNC bully me. You don't create a health revolution without making a few enemies. So I've continued making videos. I'm not against any one company, I'm against all companies that falsely market themselves. There are refined oil companies that market themselves as heart healthy. There are sugar powder companies that market themselves as making you taller. And there are biscuits filled with palm oil saying that they make you healthy. In the 21st century, where the food we eat is very different from what our grandparents ate, and most of what we eat is processed or packaged, learning how to read a food label can be even more important than coding. Today, I ask all of you to start reading food labels, because if a large number of us start reading labels, companies will be forced to make healthier foods. Companies will stop falsely marketing themselves only if the bulk of the public starts reading food labels. Don't look at others to make the change, because you are the one who's going to make India change. No one is going to back you if you don't back yourself. Don't underestimate the power of a common Indian.